Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Olevs 9923, I guess Constellation Watch, Galaxy Watch, Milky Way Watch, I don't know what they call it. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Belushi Panda. Can you believe this is a $10 watch? It sure don't look like it. And Greg was wearing my Nabasi 2321. Grogo was watching Andor and thought that the floor leader Kino Loy reminded him of this weird guy he saw Ben Solo talking to the other day, and wondered if it was the same guy. I said no, different clowns, same circus. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this box, pretty nice box. Comes on this, comes with a hang tag, and also comes with a warranty card that actually has something on it that looks like it's actually an honest to godness receipt. Doesn't really have a date, but maybe it does. I can't read Chinese. Then it comes with these instructions, and here's another warranty card, and it looks like this has a number you can scratch off, so maybe this is actually legit too. I don't know. But here it is. Some people own one watch, use it to tell the time, wear it till it wears out, and then replace it with another watch. Some people have a dress watch for special occasions, and then an everyday watch. Then there are us watch people who have all kinds of watches because we love watches. This Olevs appeals to watch people because it is a fun, interesting watch, but is not the most practical thing in the world. It has a rotating star field instead of a second hand. Not much use for tracking seconds. Index markers on the chapter ring are almost impossible to see, and even though the moon changes throughout the month, it is a static change and implies a lunar month of 31 days, which is not. Basically, this is strictly a novelty watch. I got the gold colorway, and there's also a silver color. This watch cost me $50 and does not appear to be any cheaper during the 11/11 sale. The watch is 43.1 millimeters wide, 51.8 millimeters lug to lug. It's 14.6 millimeters thick at the dome crystal. Has a 22 millimeter lug width and weighs 89 grams on the supplied leather strap. Has a smooth bezel. This is all plated. This is not solid steel. Then the dial has the Milky Way on the dial itself, and then it has another star field that's rotating. This rotating star field is your second hand, so it's on one big disc there that rotates. Then you have the moon here. The moon changes phase for each day, but it's kind of a weird change because see, it moves from kind of left to right, and it's kind of doesn't really make sense. And it also is static with the day of the month, so that means that it's going to be the same every month, and that's just not true with the moon. So this moon phase is not a true moon phase. It's just kind of a novelty thing, just something fun but not at all accurate. Then it has skeleton hands that you can't see very well because they're so thin. And once again, there is no second hand, just our rotating field. Then on the outer chapter ring, you have the day of the month, and this points to the day of the month. And once again, this and the moon are totally attached. They'll always be the same distance apart. Then on the crystal itself, it says Olevs Automatic. And then it has this direction here, north, south, west, and east. But if you look at that, north is on the bottom and south is on the top. But west is still west and east is still east. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know that much about astronomy. I think I took a class in college, but I don't know if this star map is actually accurate or relevant, or if it's just a bunch of stuff they put on the dial. So if anybody knows if north should be on the bottom and not the top, to let me know, because it sure seems that it's wrong. If you look too, there's also a metal chapter ring that actually has indices on it. They're marked in red, and as you can see, you can barely see them. So it makes setting the watch a real chore. Plus there's 12 marks between indices, so that doesn't even make sense mathematically. So these aren't really sub-second marks or second marks or minute marks. They're just a bunch of marks. So yeah, they're kind of useless too. So you need to set this on the 5s because you can't really set them in between. But since this doesn't have a true second hand, you don't have to get too carried away about the accuracy. This has a signed push-pull crown. You only get 30 meters of water resistance, so no need for a screw down. The crown action is fine. When you go to set it, you don't have that cheap watch minute hand jump or anything like that, so that works just fine. And once again, you have a second position to change the date and the moon phase, but that's all it does. I was wondering too if you could change the moon by going the other direction and not the date, but no, you can't. So yeah, they're definitely fixed with each other. So let's put it back on the 7th, which is the day. Has a dome glass crystal. I already explained what's written on it. Then the case is not solid stainless steel. It's a plated alloy, you know, which is too bad because I think for $50 you should be able to get at least a solid steel watch. Then the case back is a press-on display case back. It looks like it's a screw down, but it's not because you can see the slot for the pry bar right there. And then for some reason the display is tinted. I don't know why they do that. The whole point of a display case back is to show off the movement, so why would you obscure it? I don't know. Then it says stainless steel, but then again that just refers to the case back, not the watch. Then underneath the case back is a movement that they describe as a custom-made movement. I imagine they needed a custom-made movement because the torque required to spin this tire wheel is probably a lot greater than the typical second hand that a movement has to deal with. So I imagine there had to be some serious reinforcement of the second hand movement or mechanism. And if you look at the movement, it looks a lot like a Miyota. It like 8000 series, and it's a unidirectional, so you can see the rotor spinning, and it's a 3 hertz hand winds and hacks, and the movement stutters like crazy. Look at this second hand, look, or the second wheel. Look how bad it stutters, and that's just the reality of a Miyota 8000 series movement. So, but let's put it on the time grapher and see what it looks like. Here it is on the time grapher. As you can see, it's going about 9 to 12 seconds fast, which isn't horrible. The amplitude's pretty good, but it's got a pretty big beat error. Look at those 2 lines there. Seeing 2 lines on the screen, that's a pretty good indication that the beat error is pretty bad. It says 0.5 milliseconds. So it's not running awful, but it's not running great. But once again, it's got a lot of wheel to spin that most movements like this does not have to do. The strap is genuine leather, and it's your faux alligator there. And it's got this really good gloss to it, so it's nice and shiny. So it makes a pretty good dress watch for that. There are no quick release and no drilled lugs, so if you want to change it, it's kind of a pain. Especially when it's a plated alloy, because you're going to scratch it up trying to take the strap off. But thankfully it comes with a deployment clasp, so at least this strap will last you a long time because you don't have to bend it through the keepers. I always recommend a deployment clasp anyway, so it's good that it comes with one. But yeah, the strap is one of the nicer things of this watch. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's a big watch, but it wears nice. I mean, obviously, it's not solid steel, so it's fairly light for its size. And being on a leather strap, that also helps too. But no, it sits on the wrist fine. It's a little chunky. It's a chunky watch, but I like it. Well, I like the looks of it, I should say. I have 3 notches left, so you should be able to wear this if you have about a 8¼ inch wrist. Anything bigger, you'll need a new strap. Here we are in the lume room, and one would think that something showing a star field would have good lume, and you would be wrong. In fact, this lume is so bad I'm only speeding up the clock 8 times instead of the customary 32. As we speed up the time, we see that the hands are not lumed and the rotating stars are gone in a flash, but do provide a twinkling effect. The moon lume is much better than the Milky Way, but shines through the dial. Once the moon lume quits shining through, the Milky Way is already gone. Then the moon doesn't last much longer after that. This lume is pretty bad. What do I like about this watch? Well, it's a unique, fun watch, and I do like the way it looks. And it has a really nice leather strap that comes with the deployment clasp. What are my gripes and groans? Serious stutter in the rotating star field. The hands are not lumed. The rest of the lume is really bad. It is north-south and south-north. Indices are almost impossible to see. Do I recommend this watch? That depends. Are you a watch collector who wants a fun dress watch to add to their collection? Or are you looking for something to tell the time? This is a fun watch, but not a very functional watch. If it was any more than 50, I would say no, but I think 50 is fair considering it needs a special movement, but just barely. So, yeah, you can add this to your collection if you want something fun, but do not use this as your daily. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Olevs 9923. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel and leave comments, just not snarky ones. Well, if you have to, go ahead. And I'll be back with another review. Bye.